It's called REMA. REMA? Tip Top. Reminds me of Snatch. Tip Top. Oh yeah, it's Tip Top. Hey guys, this is James from King's Ride Shop, and today we are going to show you how to patch a tube using the REMA Tip Top patch kit, and I recommend these. I've always sold them. Some patches are the glueless ones, and if you can't handle glue, then you're probably just going to make it home with one of those, and it's not going to be much of a permanent fix. If you get a good patch kit like this one, it works really well, and it's probably more of a permanent fix where you can replace it and continually use the tube. So just get it done. Anyway, this is a brand new one, so we're going to show you what's inside first. Crack this baby open. You have the SVS Volk glue. These patch kits are made in Germany actually, and they work really good. When you put the glue on, you gotta let it dry a little bit, and it helps melt the patch. You have the sandpaper rough up the tube so that everything's smooth on the tube. This is cool. There's instructions, but I'm gonna explain it to you. There's a big patch for a tear, and then there's 4 patches for smaller punctures. We live in the desert out here, so we go through a lot of tubes and a lot of flat tires. So Patrick here has his bike, and it actually has a flat tire, which isn't very shocking out here. So obviously you got to take the wheel off. So there's the tube in question. The first thing you want to do is you want to check the tire for whatever possibly that could still be stuck in the tire that caused the puncture of the tube. So you check for it, and I found it. It's a thorn. You got to get that baby out. I kind of just pulled on it and it already came out.
Oh fuck, okay.
But it was inside there. Let's see if I can find another one, or if that was it.
I bet Steven got some too.
Yeah, probably.
Some good people.
It's a good way to just kind of make sure nothing else is in there. So that's the first thing. Second, you need to find the hole in the tube where it's leaking. So we're going to take a pump. We're going to pump the tube up. Now, you don't want to get too crazy pumping this up, but you can let it stretch pretty big, and that's going to help us find the hole. So we'll say right here, you got to be somewhere quiet, and you can hear it leaking. You can feel it against your skin. If it's a really small hole, you can wet your lips a little bit and you'll feel it blow on your lips.
Okay.
It's right here. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's literally right there between my fingers. You can probably hear.
There we go.
I don't know if you can hear
That's
that.
your mic.
How's that? You hear that?
Can you hear that?
So you usually want to mark it so you don't lose it, because to put the patch on, I like to put a square and then an X right across where the thing is, like that. So it's right in the middle, so I know where it's at. Because you have to let the air out of the tube to put the patch on. And it's really important to do this because this is a good patch, and it's going to kind of melt to the rubber of the tube. And it's important because the patch needs to stretch with the tube as the tube is inflated. The patch just needs to stretch with it. And so if you use a cheesy, cheap patch that you buy at some whack store that's not a bike shop, it's not going to work that well. So make sure you get a patch from an actual bike shop. I mean, these patch kits are $5. Come on. So you let as much air out as you can. And then you kind of hold it down flat. You can still see the X. And you take your little rough sandpaper, and it's right next to this ridge. So you really want to sand down this ridge so it's smooth around it, so the patch has a flat area to stick. So I like to kind of get all the way around it, so most of the patch is in like the smooth area, so it doesn't create like a bump or a ridge in the patch. So you can see like that's pretty good right there. And then you obviously got to get all the debris off from it so it's nice and smooth. You can see it's going to go like right here under where the hole is. So then you got to open the glue. You know, you puncture the tube there and then put the glue on, and you want to spread it thinly around where the patch is going to go. Pretty even coat. Doesn't have to be a thick coat, just pretty even like that. And this is important. It'll tell you this in the instruction. You gotta let the glue dry for a bit. If you just go for it and put the patch on, it won't stick because whatever the heck's in the glue, I'm not exactly a chemist, it needs to evaporate out of the glue before you put the patch on. Here's the patch. It's rubber. This is vulcanized glue. This is gonna have like a little reaction and kind of melt this patch a bit onto the tube. And since the patch is the type of rubber it is, it's gonna stretch with the tube when it's inflated. So it's pretty dry. We're gonna stick that on there. We're gonna hold it down for a second, wipe any excess glue out of there. And some people don't take this plastic part off the back, but that also restricts the patch from stretching with the tube. So I like to try to remove it because it works better. So I'll leave it on there for a second so it gets a good seal on there. So you start to just kind of push the patch down onto the rubber because it's kind of melting on there. You can kind of see what I'm talking about here. So I just kind of shove it back down. And once you get this going a little bit, it'll just pull right off. So then you kind of just push it back down. You can see it's kind of like melted on there. It's all stretchy, and just make sure it kind of creates a good seal around the edges. It's all dry. I know it's not perfectly pretty.
Looks beautiful.
But that does the trick. I wish I would have done it so it looked a little nicer, but whatever.
Whatever.
So that's it. Then, sometimes if I don't like the edge of it, I put a little tiny bit of glue around the edge where I don't like it. And then it just kind of helps melt the patch down on there a little bit better. You gotta wait a few minutes. Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Put the back in the tire like you always have. Put the tube back in there. And then you pump it back up like you always would. Get my workout in for the day. All right. And then, voila. Didn't even really take much longer than changing a tube. That's it. Ready to go. Back in business. Probably saved a few bucks with the patch, and you're good to go. Yeah, especially right now you can't find tubes. Can't believe nobody came in while we were doing that.
I know. That's kind
I'm
of
like
crazy.
shocked.
And the phone didn't even ring. Did it ring?
No. I'm shocked. Never happens that way.